brand awareness grows and leads flow faster with far less spend. And if you think you have to be a computer scientist to take advantage, rest assured, because Command was built hand in hand with agents. It's designed to be used by agents, by you. Simple, smart, human. Command puts you in control of your database, your business, and your future. It's time to take command.
Real estate is about helping people with one of the most fundamental aspects of their lives, home. And you are the expert they turn to. And not just when someone buys or sells, but before, after, and all the little spaces in between. So it can be frustrating when you don't have the time or technology to know when someone needs your help. And when you miss that opportunity, it creates a gap that someone or something else can step into. So let's close that gap and give you the time and technology you need to build high-quality relationships with more people. Let's join forces and demand our technology not replace us, but help us be more human, more present, more everything. Let's take command. Built exclusively by and for Keller Williams agents, Command is your do-it-all, do-it-quickly, people-centric, less stress, more time, end-to-end platform to grow your relationships, your pipeline, and your market share. Whew! Luckily, using it is a lot easier than explaining everything it does, but let's give it a try. Organize, customize, and sync all your contacts. Group them however you want. Know exactly who to reach out to, when, and about the things they really care about. Send personalized neighborhood-centric just-in-time marketing materials in a snap. Have more conversations, build more relationships, earn more business. Say, "Hey Kelly," and escape from your desk in the office. Add a new contact, log notes, and sync everything while on the go. Seamlessly and transparently source, send, and manage referrals through one of the world's largest and most profitable referral networks. Deploy an ROI-maximized ad campaign across Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter in like 30 seconds. Integrate the systems and tools you already use every day. Automate paperwork and background tasks. Access real-time revenue projections, end-to-end ROI insights, and goal tracking to get a bird's eye view of your business. Have more conversations, build more relationships, earn more business. Command empowers you to be a better agent by giving you more time, more value, and more freedom. And best of all, it ensures you and your relationship with your clients remain at the heart of real estate, where you belong.
A few years ago, we gathered all the smartest people we knew: agents, market centers and regional leaders, technologists, data scientists, and asked them some big questions. What does it look like when technology is simple, smarter, and more human? How can we ensure agents stay at the center of the transaction where their clients want them?
Doors down with the green roof. So if you haven't been over there, come and visit us. We're really friendly.
Your name again?
Kent, K-E-N-T. So I've been with the association almost 10 years. I was still in diapers when I started working there. And I started off working at the front desk. And then I've worked in events, marketing, communications, accounting, operations. I've done a little bit of everything. And somewhere along the way, I became the person that learned about the MLS. And so I've been teaching these matrix classes off and on for about six years. So I know a little bit about Austin MLS. I know a whole lot about Central Texas MLS. So I teach from CTX MLS. So even if you use Austin MLS, it looks almost exactly the same. And so if there's anything that you're lost or you're like, hold up, this doesn't look right, stop me, throw something at me, wave your hands. I had a lady in class a few weeks ago who got lost 20 minutes in and never asked for help. So at the end of hour 3, she was 3 hours behind. And my goal is that y'all can leave here, enter listings, learn something new. I want everyone to learn at least one thing new. So if you haven't learned something new, by the end of the 3 hours, let me know and I'll make sure I figure something out. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
So how many of y'all have been licensed longer than 6 months? Okay. How long have you been licensed for?
The end of July.
End of July, okay?
2 months.
2 months?
1 month.
1 month?
2 months.
2 months?
A little over 3.
Oh, great. Okay. So y'all have all been in the MLS before, played around?
Like yesterday.
Like yesterday, even better. Cool. Okay. Good. It means I don't have to fix too many bad habits. So I always bookmark our association website and make it one of those pages that pops up. You never know what you're going to need or what you're going to look for. Things may change. It may be something you want to check out. I say the same with any association that you're part of. So our website's wcrealtors.org. At the very, very top, there's two buttons. One says Access CTX MLS, and the other is Access Actress. So just depending upon which MLS you're looking to use, it'll take you to where you need to go. Like I said, we're gonna work off of CTX MLS today. I already pre-logged in, so no one can try to guess my password. Sorry. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here for you guys. Is that better? A little bit, Keto? Okay. So, kind of what we're gonna spend the first 45 minutes working on is getting to know where everything is in the MLS. You have that client, you're sitting down, like all workers, doing nothing, just eating bonbons, watching TV. The client calls, and that's supposed to be funny, we're supposed to laugh, but okay. So a client calls and they're like, hey, I want to find this property. I'm sitting in front of the house and I need to know more info about it. And the first thing you need to figure is where to go, where to find that. Or your client calls, that client that you've been trying to get to drop the price of the house for months, but they refuse to drop the price until right now they want it dropped immediately. So just kind of different things that make it really easy to find, or different tools that you can implement to make your life easier. Everyone with me so far? Okay, so if we don't have one in here today, but if there's like a news, an alert, an announcement, or something that we want you to know is going on, it'll pop up and it'll take over your entire screen. So the moment you log into the MLS, it'll be the first thing that you see, and you can't move forward unless you do one of two things. Read it and click OK, or I've read this, or do what 99% of everyone else does and hit read this later incessantly, and then come back 6 months later and say, I never saw that notice. It happens. But so it'll pop up, it'll take over your whole screen, read it. We only put them out there if they're really important. So sometimes it's, don't forget to pay your dues, or your MLS subscription fees are due, or maybe it's today's the day of a really big event. I've seen Update Supra does updates every so often, and they do a really bad job of letting people know that they're about to do an update. Like the new iPhone update, iOS 11, they updated it, it came out, everyone updated it, even though the beta had been out for 3 months and Supra had 3 months to test it. They waited until the day after iOS 11 came out to tell people, wait, don't update your phones. The ET app won't work yet. Which most people that are like me had already updated it. They couldn't do anything for a day or two until Supra caught up, got the new app release. Those are the kind of things we'll push in those alerts. So that's always going to be at the top left. You can't do anything about it. It's going to be there forever and ever. The rest of the boxes, the blue boxes with the squares, they're widgets. You can move them however you want, wherever you want. You have 3 columns, and then you can choose what your layout looks like. So my layout's got news and information on the left, information about listings in the middle, and then anything having to do with clients and stats on the right. That's how I've organized it. Plus I'm a little OCD, and it makes a really nice clean line right on the bottom. But however you want to organize it, totally up to you. You can also take widgets that you don't think you'll ever use and close them out. So for example, let's say you are not a listing agent, you only work with buyers. You could take the data checker and close it out, and it'll disappear forever. If you ever need it back, it's down here in this additional widget, and you can just drag and drop it back wherever you want. Does that make sense? Okay. Really basic stuff, but it's important to know because I'll get a call. My stats button one way, or my contact button one way. I don't know what my contacts have done. What do I do? And I'm like, well, do you see the button that says additional? And then I get, okay, thanks, click. So just different things. We're gonna spend about an hour today on creating searches. You yourself can actually save searches that you run a lot. Let's say you're trying to farm a neighborhood, or you have, you have a client that, or a newspaper that you update with every week, and you run the same stats every week. You can set up a search, save it, and that way you never have to re-enter all your your info again. And that would save right here under favorite searches. You have the ability to do my listings. So if you have a listing, if anyone in this office has a listing, and then anyone in, I believe for you guys, it's any of Avis's offices has a listing. It'll show up under my firm listings. So when someone calls you and says, I'm standing out front of a sign, it says Keller Williams Round Rock, you're on phone duty, you pick up the phone, you can come over here to my listings, click on my office listings, and see exactly what's going on in your office. And you don't have to have them figure out what the address is. They can just say, oh, I'm on Easy Street, and I saw this really cute purple house. And then you can go through and figure out what house it is. Listing Data Checker, we work with Data Checker to make sure that all the information that's in the listings is correct. Austin and Central Texas both use that. What that means is if you forget to close out a listing, it's like your listing sold, and you're like, great, yeah, I'm gonna take my commission and run, and never forget to close it out and report the data in the MLS. Eventually the tax records will update, and then you'll get a little nice friendly email. Hey, thanks so much. We noticed this listing is sold, but you still have it marked as pending, or you let it expire. That's a no-no, don't ever do that. And so it'll say, hey, you have 24 hours to fix this. If you don't follow up from those notifications you get, then you start getting fined. You can come on in.
Is this CTX or A4?
Yes.
Both?
It's the same MLS system. I'm teaching off of CTX MLS.
Okay.
But whether or not you use CTX or Austin, it's 98% of it's the same. Speaking of, one thing
Sorry.
that you're good, no worries. Speaking of CTX MLS, one thing that is a little bit different is we subscribe to RE Technology Update. It is a free service that has really cool articles for both you as the agent, for brokers, and then a lot of them are things that you can take and share on your social media channels or share on your website, your blogs. That is content that you can take and you feel like you know what you're talking about. Market Watch. How many times have you, maybe not yet, how many of y'all have been at the grocery store, had on your name badge or your realtor logo, and someone walks up to you and goes, so, how's the market doing? Anyone gotten that yet?
Still waiting for it.
Still waiting for it. Okay, so if you wear your name tag or your realtor pin while you're at the grocery store, which, why would you not? It's free advertising while you're doing the most boring thing in the world. Someone's going to walk up to you and go, hey, how's the market doing? I see you're a realtor. Or actually, they'll say, I see you're a realtor. Because they're going to say it wrong. And so you'll be like, well, I was in the MLS this morning, and it looks like, we're actually seeing a lot of price decreases in the last 24 hours, which is odd, because normally we see, properties going pending. You can see all of that under the Market Watch, and it's just a real quick, at a glance, you can see what's going on. You can even take it and its defaults at, I think, residential, and then 24 hours. Come on in, guys. You can adjust it to cross property, and cross property is really good because what it does is it takes the residential, the farm and ranch, the multifamily, the leases. It takes everything as a whole, all of the different types, and you can search at one time. So I don't know how many of y'all use the Austin MLS.
Like A-board?
A-board, yeah. Actress, yeah. Okay. So they have a field that's farm and ranch. So a lot of times, or at least they used to have a field input for farm and ranch. I think they still do. So the further east you get, a lot of times people that will be listing lots or houses on acreage will list it in both farm and ranch and residential, or just in farm and ranch and not residential. So when you do a cross property, it'll search both of those at the same time. You don't have to worry about setting up two different searches or searching at two different times. Does that make sense?
So cross-property is
Really good.
only
Yes.
counting each record once.
So cross property will search all the different input options. So like in Central Texas, there's residential, multifamily, land, commercial property, rental, and then cross property.
It's just everything.
So cross property will search each and every one of those at the same time. So you may actually find 6 different listings for 123 Easy Street because that realtor has a commercial or has a property that could be zoned, that is zoned commercial, but it's a residential listing. They also have it as a commercial for sale, commercial lease, residential lease. They're just trying to move that property somehow. So it's entered in multiple times.
Does cross property count that as 6 different like price decrease, like 6 of them
No.
would be the same property?
As long as you link it correctly,
Okay,
I say that. As long as it's linked correctly, it should not.
it should be just
Because
listed.
whenever you enter a listing in the second time, it'll say other MLS number, and you'll make sure they're all linked together, and that way it counts everything as one. Because otherwise it would count, you know, that is 6 properties sold that month, or, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. That is a great question. In fact, I've never been asked that question before. So then, hot sheets, are y'all familiar with hot sheets? No? We're gonna totally skip hot sheets. I talk about it a little bit in the advanced class, which I'm doing in a couple weeks, but it's, I don't really see a need for it. Hopefully that can get cut out of the video, but I don't really see a need for it. But it's a way you can take certain properties and save them and come back to them time and time again. I've asked people that have been in the business for years, well, what do you use hot sheets for? And they go, what are those? Or never. So I just kind of skip right over that. And then these external links right here, you're gonna have different links in Actress versus Central Texas, because they're gonna be specific to what's going on. So both Austin and Central Texas have 2 different 1-800 support numbers. So we've all been up at like 8:30 on a Saturday morning, everything's quiet in our house, we're trying to set up a listing, and you run into this major snafu, and you're like, oh crap. It's 8:30 on Saturday, probably shouldn't call Michelle yet, probably shouldn't call Bruce, the board's closed, what do I do? So both Central Texas and Actress have these wonderful 1866 numbers listed in external links, then at the very, very top in red, as well as on the cover page of your handout. That basically will be like their hours of operations are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 8:30, and Saturdays and Sundays, 8:30 to 3:30. And that is a number dedicated for Central Texas MLS, for Actress MLS. So if you are having an issue with Actress, you call the Actress number, and then they will pull up and see exactly what you can see. So if you're just running into an issue of, I'm trying to find this field, where is it? Or, you know, that really big guy that came and talked to us, I can't remember his name, but he taught us this class, and he showed me how to do this, but I don't remember how to do it anymore. They can help you through all of that. So that's important. Central Texas MLS, we use showing time instead of CSS. Showing time is a really, really cool tool, and it actually allows you as the realtor to make changes to your showings, to let the people know you're running late, or, you know, the different things that were really big complaints about CSS. What you can do, CSS is centralized showing service, by the way. I believe that's what Austin uses for their showing service. Don't quote me on that. But they have an appointment center that you can call if you need help. They have an app on your phone, or you can log in through this button right here. And plus, they have their own help and training built into it. What's really cool is you can pick 8 different properties, click schedule showing, and it'll say, this is the best route you should go. So you don't have to sit there and figure out, so should I go from Round Rock West to Old Settlers to McNeil to Gerald to Georgetown? It'll literally put it in order for you, so it's the best route for whatever you need.
It's cool.
It's really cool, and it's very, very easy. We'll talk a little bit about that, but essentially when you enter your listing, you then go in and you set up showing time with your client's cell phone number your client gets a text message, hey, someone has requested to show your property at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Hit 1 for yes or 2 for no. And they text right back and approve the showing, or 3 for reschedule, or whatever it is. So let's say you get copied on everything. Hey, your sellers at 123 Eastville Sellers have a showing tomorrow morning at 9:30. That's your job as the realtor to then go, hey Bob and Janet, don't forget, open all your blinds, scrub the toilets, pick up trash, the things that make you the professional. Or you're like, hey, I see you have a showing at 9:30. You leave at 9. I'm gonna get there at 9 and I'm gonna do all this prep work for you. I'm gonna plug in your Cincy's or whatever you guys do that make you the best realtor for your client. eProperty Watch. It you can use it to stay in touch with your clients. I've not used it very, very much. Builder Update works on new homes. So as long as the builder uses that service, you can actually do a search for new homes through the Builder's Update. My 3 favorite things: the rules and regulations. You know what you're doing. It's funny, you have this wonderful 3-hour course. Not once we talk about the rules. I'll point stuff out to you along the way, but those are really good. Both MLSs, I know you logged in and you're like, oh, I'm so excited. And then they're like, here's a 17-page document you have to sign. Because I know each and every one of you all printed off all 17 pages. Read it line by line, and click, I have read and agreed to these terms and conditions. So those are here and they're always on hand, as well as the fine schedule. So if you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that, I'm not going to disclose the sales price. And then in there it goes, well, that's a $500 fine. You may go, okay, I'll disclose the sales price. Or my favorite is, did you know? How many of y'all have assistants yet? How many of y'all really want to get so busy you have assistants? Okay. You cannot give your assistants your login. They have to go and get their own login. Now, you can pay for it for them. They have to go get their own login. You have to set up team sharing. And if you don't do that, it's a $1,000 fine per incident. So if you've been giving your assistant login for 6 months, times $1,000 if they've logged in every single day. Don't share your password, y'all. I'll talk about that role. The service area for CTX MLS, because the number one question I always get is, well, what area does Central Texas MLS cover? How is it different than Austin? There's this beautiful animated GIF that I put together, or GIF, or however you want to say it, depending on whether you're a millennial or not. That'll show you each board in each county that is served by Central Texas MLS. List Hub, your broker's already opted into List Hub or has something set up otherwise. The biggest difference is Central Texas uses List Hub to syndicate all of your listings. You enter a listing into List Hub or into Central Texas MLS. In 15 minutes, List Hub picks it up, shares it to 78 different sites. And then those 78 sites send it to 2,000 sites. That then send it to a couple hundred other sites. So in a matter of an hour, your one listing is automatically been fed to 3,400 websites. Not 78. Property Panorama, we give you free, I hate the word free. I like. Free is my second favorite F word. My first is fun. Once again, that was another joke you were supposed to laugh at. Man, I'm 0 for 2 today. So Property Panorama is an included virtual tour service. I don't know if y'all have anything provided by the brokerage, but it'll take your first 5 photos, make it a virtual tour for you, and it'll automatically add it to your listing once it's been done.
Wait, it'll do what?
It'll take your first 5 listing photos, will create a virtual tour for you automatically, and then that'll be available as part of your listing.
What is that? I'm sorry.
Property Panorama. It's really cool. And now if you have a service, like I worked for, in between working for the board, I worked for another major real estate franchise in the area. And they had a service that would give you branded and unbranded virtual tours. And it would pull in your listing for you, do all the work. And so it all depends on what you have available. There's some people that have no virtual tour access. You could do it at no extra cost, or you can pay, I think it's $1 a listing, and make it a really cool enhanced virtual tour with music and animations and excitement. How many of y'all have a website? And every single day you go on that website and you add your own listings in there, right? They just automatically show up, right? So I don't know if you've ever tried to look at this. If you go to your website and search for a property that's in the MLS, it's automatically already on your website.
I don't have any listings yet.
So, but even if you were to go find a listing in the MLS, then go to your website. So there's this thing called IDX, or Internet Data Exchange, that takes all the listings and feeds them out automatically to all the different websites. There is one really cool person for all of Central Texas MLS that handles those data feeds. So if you have any questions, I can help you with that. That is me. And then Realist, we're going to kind of skip over Realist because it's going away.
Because what?
It's going away.
Oh.
So how many of you are computer techie in here?
Ish.
Ish. You know what Flash is?
Like Adobe?
Yeah. See, you know more than you think you know. Flash is apparently going away. It's been CSS and HTML5 have kind of replaced a lot of it. So Realist is Flash based. So we'll jump into it. I'll show you how it works, but don't get too comfortable because, like I said, it's going away.
My mentor uses it every day.
I will show you the way around it.
Okay.
Because now the MLS has all the Realist info available inside of the listing if you click a certain spot. And then on the right hand side on mine is all of your different contacts, and we'll go over all of those. So you can actually set up. Let me back up a second. How many of y'all have ever bought a house before? Wow, that's actually really exciting. So you know you would get the email every day at 8 o'clock that said, here are your listings. And here are the new listings, or here's what matches your search criteria. Your wonderful realtor was not up at 8 o'clock every morning doing those for you. The MLS does it automatically. And so that's, like I said, a big chunk of what we're going to work on today. But all the stats of that are going to be over here on the right-hand side. Anyone bored to death yet? Anybody learn something new yet? Cool. Everyone can go home. Just kidding. Okay. So then at the very top, the toolbar. This is where things are going to be a little bit different from what you're used to in Actress. The home button takes you to your wonderful dashboard. Search, what do you think you could do under search? Search. Stats, you can run some stats within Matrix. I'll also show you a tool from Texas Realtors that takes all the different MLSs in the state and pushes them into one database to give you better data, better analytics. I usually kind of skip over the Matrix stats. My Matrix is where we'll spend about 30 minutes today setting up your profile, setting up things correctly. So when you do send out those auto emails, everything looks the way it's supposed to. Realist Tax, rest in peace. Links is just kind of those links that were on the homepage. There's a different set of them. And then input. All of you that use Actress, Austin MLS, whatever you want to call it, you're used to a button that says Add Edit. And Actress hits Input. And there you go, that is the only difference between the two MLSs. Is how you enter the listings. The only difference. And then there's a button at the end called Help. What do you think you do whenever you need help? You click on Help. There's videos by someone who is way less entertaining than me, but still has great information. On there, there's screenshots that will be like, I'm missing the step on how to enter a listing. There's a 2-minute video on how to enter a listing, and it just will take you step by step and give you little tidbits on little different things you need. Anyone bored yet? Okay. Cool. So first thing we're going to go ahead and, if you have your laptop with you, click on My Matrix. From this point, I will probably be stuck in this computer the rest of the day. Okay. So we're going to go down to My Matrix and then Settings. Does everyone have that option? Okay, we'll make sure. This is where some things get a little weird. And then do you see the my information button on your computer? Let's go ahead and click on that. Okay, I wish I had a whiteboard in here, but it's okay. How many Mac users do we have out there? 4 of y'all? 3 of y'all? The rest of y'all are easy. 50-50, okay. Your first name and your last name and your email address are pre-filled out in the MLS. You really can't make changes to those. Do you know why? Track. Y'all familiar with the track? It's more than someone you just pay a couple $100 to every couple years. Their job is to protect the public. So we want to make sure that whatever information is going out about you and your listings is accurate and correct, and then they can be traced back to who you are in trade. So those you can't change. Your job title. What are you guys? You're a realtor. How many of y'all have you gone through code of ethics? Okay. So you're a realtor wannabe, no, I'm just kidding. So once technically you have to go through code of ethics to become a true realtor, because you have to know what you're agreeing to. But for this example, we're going to say you're all realtors. 2 syllables, realtor or realtor, because you tour real property. That's how I always explain it. You're not a realtor, just like you don't go to the docator. I always say that a lot of times. So if you're going to, there's a TV show on Netflix, the Santa Clarita Diet.
Yeah.
She's a realtor, but she says it wrong every single time, and it makes me cringe. There was also a whole bit in Modern Family a while back where, you know, do you ever watch Modern Family? Okay. Phil, one of the main characters, is I can't talk today, a realtor, and Sofia Vergara got really heated in her accent to this one lady that called him a real estate agent. And it's just really kind of cool to see how NAR, I'm going to take this full circle, I promise, how much NAR protects the trademark. And so I feel like it's your job as actual realtors to make sure you protect that trademark. Just like, what are these called? There you go. These are actually puffs.
Yeah.
So these are tissues, not Kleenex. So not everybody that has a real estate license is a realtor. And so it's up to you guys to help protect that trademark. Part of that trademark is the registered logo at the very, very end. I have it here even though it's not needed. So you see right here this little registered trademark. There's like 3 different ways to make it happen. If you're on a Mac, Alt-R. It's the easiest way to do it. Or you can hold down R, I believe, and it'll give you all the different options. If you're on a PC that has like a 10 key pad off to the side, it's Alt-0174. And if you're and if you're on one of those people that are on a tablet or a laptop that doesn't have a 10 key, you have to go find somewhere else that has that registered trademark, copy and paste it. Sorry.
How do you do it on the Mac?
Alt-R, or Option R.
Optional.
Alt-R?
On a Mac. If you're on your iPhone, you have to go to the emojis and add the little R emoji.
Oh, okay.
So there's like eight different ways, but it's important. NAR is very, very specific on their trademark. You cannot be a Texas realtor unless you're a member of the Texas Association of Realtors. You cannot be a Round Rock realtor. That is not allowed. So basically, the word realtor can never be modified. Go back to diagramming sentences in high school. Did any of y'all else have to do that? You had to take the sentence and diagram it out, what every part of speech was?
Mm-hmm.
Just me and you? Okay. So that way you want to make sure the word realtor is never modified. The word realtor does the modifying of you. So you can be Bob Dole, realtor, registered trademark. Realtor should always be in all caps and then followed by the registered trademark. If you cannot find a registered trademark, just all caps will work. which is weird because if you ever read about realtors in the paper, APA, which is the format that the magazines use, make it go in all lowercase, and it makes me cringe every time.
So for title of employment, we just put the realtor and then the R sign?
You can put realtor, you can put, if you have a position within your brokerage, if you wanted to be Round Rock specialist or Williamson County expert, or you can, you just can't modify the word realtor. So I like word realtor, however you want to say it. And then you could do, realtor, comma, Round Rock expert. That's allowed. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then if you have a pager, I would like to welcome you to 2020. We don't use pagers anymore, but apparently it's still an option in the MLS. Same thing with fax number. When was the last time anyone had to fax anything to someone other than the government? Seriously, I'm dead serious. So if you have a fax number, you can enter it in there. When I first started working at the board, we had a service, or Texas Realtors had a service that you could pay $30 a year and get your own fax number, but it would convert it to a PDF. So I thought that was kind of cool, but once again, it's not used that much anymore. If you don't have a fax machine or a scanner, all the new iPhones now, you can take a picture and add them all as PDFs. So that's it. If you have one, enter it in. Same thing with, you can't change your brokerage info. So, have a good one.
You do. Sorry about that.
You're good, no worries. So, if your brokerage info is wrong, it means you changed brokers and didn't tell anybody. We're really smart individuals, but we are not mind readers. God bless you. Bless you again. So that way, the way it happens if you ever decide to change brokers, you let Trek know, you let your board know, then you let your MLS know, and then it magically all happens in the MLS. Yes.
So does the board let MLS know? Because mine's not changed yet, but I signed up with the board yesterday.
Okay, so we'll look at that on a break. I brought my laptop just in case.
problem.
So, and then if you have any taglines, slogans, additional information, anything else you want to add. All this seems tedious and dumb, but it comes into play on the next couple screens, and I'll show you how. Anybody lost yet? No. Anybody wondering what they could have been doing instead of hanging out with me today? If you make any changes, make sure you click the blue save button. If not, you'll cry and have to go back and redo everything you just did. We're going to jump over to email signature. So, are you familiar if I said the term WYSIWYG? Does that make sense at all? Does it just sound kind of fun? WYSIWYG. So what this is called is what you see is what you get. WYSIWYG. That means if you make it bold, and whatever your type is, it becomes bold. A couple years ago, everything had to be done. When I first learned how to use the internet, if I wanted something bold, I had to know what the bold HTML tag was, the opening tags, the ending tags, and H1s and Bs and Is and all that fun stuff. Now technology's come a really long way. It's just like Microsoft Word. You can stick it in there and make it whatever color you want. You're good to go. So this being said, this is very important. Your email signature. Every single auto email you send out, every single client portal message you respond to, anytime you do anything from the MLS that goes to your client's inbox, that shows up on the bottom. Anyone scared yet? Okay, so a couple of things you can do. You can go into your Gmail or your Outlook, copy and paste, and 99% of the time it will look just fine. Unless you have pictures. If you have pictures, it looks like this, which is this little symbol of the broken sad picture. It's a universal sign for if you done messed up. So, but that's easy. It's really, you can, if you have that image on your computer, you can browse your computer. So, you used to be able to do that. They made a change. If the image you want to put in your email signature is posted on the internet, you can go to the internet, find that image, and paste it in that URL setting.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So for example, let's say I want to use my wonderful headshot that I just love so much. I don't like it. I can go down to the picture. It's not going to work. Let's try this again. Okay, I can take this wonderful picture that I found on the internet, right click it, and there's a couple options. One is save image, one is copy image address. You click on copy image address, and it'll take whatever the URL is for that image and add it for you. And then it'll insert the image into there. If you look, I don't look that short, squatty, and wide in real life. Over here is your width, your height, and all this kind of fun stuff. So you'll need to go through. There's the button that looks like a semi-recycle symbol. If you hit that button, it'll make it the size it originally is. And then you can come over here and play with your height and your width. And say I only want it to be 100. And then I want it to float on the left. I want my image on the left and all the text to float around it. You literally I clicked the lock symbol. That means so whatever I change the width, it changes the height automatically. So you don't get those weird, funky, distorted pictures. And then my alignment was my left. Now, you may say, that's weird. The text is touching the image. I want a little bit more space. You have vertical space and horizontal space. So what is this? Is this horizontal or vertical? Horizontal. So we're going to put a number in there. Just making sure y'all are all awake. That number correlates to pixels. So how many dots on that screen of a space are we going to add? So that looks a little bit better now. The text isn't touching right up to my image. It's floating left. Life is good. It's now been added. There we go. But see how I made it float left? So the confidentiality notice starts to wrap around it. You can go back, double click it, and turn your alignment off. And then it'll fold right below. The power of WYSIWYG.
Love it.
And this is the same thing up here. You can change the colors. It'll give you access to a color wheel that's not working on this computer. Beautiful rainbow, lots of different colors you can choose from. Or if you know what the HTML color should be, you can type it into here. And it'll pick the color for you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You can also, this is the number one question I get asked. Are y'all familiar with that pesky form? You know, the IABS form? Information about broker services.
Yeah.
That form you're supposed to always have your client sign before you really start talking to them. Every broker is different. And I always say that if you don't know what to do, talk to your broker or your team leader. Some people require that line item be in the text of every email signature that gets sent out. I know y'all got emails from some agents that it's always in every signature. You can take, so what is it? I think it's Texas law requires that this form, blah, blah, blah. All this wonderful text, right? You can highlight the text. Oops, see, I broke it, I was going too fast. It's not like in my shortcut that I'm used to on my Mac. info in there, highlight the text, and click on this paperclip link thing. And as long as you have your IABS in your Google Drive on your website somewhere else hosted, you can copy and paste that logo right there. So every time an email goes out from the MLS, you're adhering to that rule and always providing that form every time it goes out. Does that make sense? Okay. If you've made changes, go ahead and click save, because if not, you'll be sad, because it won't save your work. And then click on header and footer. So the header and footer is every time an email goes out, it looks pretty. Every time you print something off, it wants to look pretty. You want it to look nice. So whenever your clients get the email, what are more new listing results match your search criteria? Click here to learn more. It'll take them to this website, and then you can pick what it looks like at the top. There's like 7 different ways you can do this. You can do the basic that already comes with it. You can click on select different banner, image, and theme, and there's all these different images. The one thing I'm going to tell you is I'm a beach guy. I love the beach. I want to live at the beach one day. But if I'm selling Round Rock, Texas, I'm not going to have a bunch of beach chairs as my header on my website, because you're not selling the beach. You're selling a lifestyle. You're selling something different. So whatever image you pick, make it like relate to something. If you don't ever sell homes on a golf course, or you don't know where the closest golf course is, don't make the golf course your image. Things like that. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So pick whatever you want. You know, as long as it does something, it just keeps going and going and going. And then click on preview, and then it'll show you what it looks like at the very top. And you can keep playing. Now, if you're really, really techy and you really love graphics, you can create your own custom image. So it tells you, hey, here's what size it should be. But make sure that you do a bunch of gibberish. It has to be 1600 pixels wide, 120 pixels tall, but the leftmost 1800 or 800 pixels have to be blank. Does that make sense to anybody other than me?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever heard of Canva before?
Yes.
Canva is pretty awesome. So if you have a little bit of design skills, you can go to canva.com. You can, hand out. If you go to canva.com, you can create custom sized banners, custom sized images, listing flyers, you're welcome, website images, GIFs, you name it, you can do it. So make sure you check that out, play around with it, canva.com, and it's pretty cool. And so if you're one of those people, you've had a custom website created, or you really like, do you need a pen?
Yeah.
I have one.
Oh,
So
thank you.
I'm all about branding. So if you are trying to brand,
Awesome.
I try. So if you're trying to brand it, you can create your custom image, do whatever you need to do, and then upload it in. I say that is, if you're working with a bunch of buyers that never go and you never send out auto emails, all this stuff's a moot point. Because this is whenever you send out, when you work with buyers, you're sending them listings, and this is what shows up when they click that email. But I'll show you all of that fun stuff. Remember, under the information screen, I made you enter all this weird information all about yourself, your job title, your phone number. You find people that have pagers. You can pick what goes in where, what order it shows up as. Do you want your name at top, or do you want your broker's name at top with the office phone number, then your name? Do you want your cell phone number? Do you want your title? Whatever. You can change it all, and it'll rearrange it all for you. and automatically throw it at the top for you. Same thing, and then it'll say, hey, these are the colors that we use. And I'll show you what it looks like. You can either keep those colors, or you can go real bold, you think really highly of yourself, and start making changes. If anything ever gets messed up, my favorite button at the very bottom, reset branding to defaults. If you think something's gonna look super ace and it comes up looking super not, just go back to reset and it'll default to where it was. Whenever you print, that's weird. Okay. So if you ever update your header within Matrix, it takes a little while to push it through to the print header. So don't be alarmed. Your print header will match this header. You can't see what I'm touching on the screen. Sorry. Your print header, which is the smaller one when you print off forms to hand off to your client, will match what's up here. It just takes a little while to update sometimes. And then you can also customize your footer, make sure everything's listed appropriately at the bottom of whatever page you print off. So you be contacted if someone finds this wonderful sheet of paper lying on the ground. Okay. Any questions so far? You all are a really quiet class. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing and then y'all get a 10-minute break. Isn't that exciting? Okay, very top we're going to click on Portal Profile. Try to say that 3 times fast. Okay. You can upload your photo. I hate this photo of me, but it matches everyone else in the office's background. I think it makes me actually look my age. My other one made me look like I wasn't quite so 30. But you can upload your photo, click on Change Photo. You can crop it. I guess that could be really fun and just, bam, right in your face. So you can play around with it and make it look good. Otherwise, if you have a better photo of yourself, like I did a second ago, I don't know who this dude is, but he has the same name that I do. So every time I search my name, he shows up. But you can come back, you can copy that image, replace the photo, browse, and this one will let you actually pull from your computer. So, sound good? I have a couple caveats whenever it comes to using photos. And I am an equal opportunity offender, so don't get offended at my comment here. Real estate is a very lucrative business, or it can be a very lucrative business if you know what you're doing. Not everyone has the best of intentions in the world. Be very, very careful about using your photo on everything. The side of your car, your business cards, your signs, your photo, your face gets put everywhere out there for the world to see. The next thing you know, you'll start getting phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm just saying things that members call and tell us. I want everyone to be very cautious when it comes to using your photo and using it smartly, because you are your own brand. Your face is your brand. You're in sales. Everyone needs to find you. Just be very, very careful that you don't put your photo out everywhere for the world to see. Does that make sense?
What happened?
Okay, so there's a lot of things that can happen. I have a friend who is super gorgeous, and her beautiful blonde flowy hair is on the side of her car. And some dude walked up to her at HEB and goes, "Can you come into my house? I want you to look at it." And she was like, "I don't dating." She was so thrown off guard, I guess. Is you have to be conscious of your surroundings all the time. There's multiple realtors who have been killed, have been lured into one of our old presidents calls it being a Pop-Tart. What do Pop-Tarts do? They jump out of the toaster. So you're sitting there and someone drives past the sign in the yard and sees your pretty face on the side of the house on your sign. They pick up the phone, they call you, They expect you to come, and they're expecting you now. Have they been pre-qualified? Have you gone through whatever safety measures you have to go through? Or are you just going to be a Pop-Tart, jump out of your seat, drive 45 minutes out to throw on to show a 20-acre listing that is vacant? Or are you going to say, I'd love to show this property to you, but I want you to let's come to my office first. I need to be pre-qualified. There's some safety things we need to take care of. If someone who's not really interested is going to hang up the phone and move on. Not trying to scare you, but people are crazy.
Well, has there been realtors that have a concealed carry?
Absolutely. There's a lot of different vendors in the area that'll do CHL classes. There's a lot of people in your own office that I know have CHLs. So I mean, it's Texas, thankfully, after all. So I mean, there's realtor safety classes. NAR, the National Association of Realtors, has so much info on realtor safety. Just, I think, be cognizant, be aware. If you feel nervous at all, having your cell phone is a wonderful tool. Having a code word.
I'm sorry, can I
Yeah,
interact?
you're a very well seasoned realtor. You can help me out here.
Well, you know, as well as seasoned I am, it's always great to come to these classes because there is so much that if you don't use it, you lose it. But just make sure that as you come to training, we do have a system here in Keller Williams that if you're gonna go show a property and something tells you this does not feel right, please go ahead and make sure you get that information from
Yes.
our front desk, okay? Because I was new once, I did have a situation and I called and the next thing I had like about 4 realtors right there with me. So we at Keller Williams are very aware that that happens. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm alone. No, you text, you make sure
Yep.
that we know. Just have to mention that.
That's perfect. Thank you. So now that I've scared the living crap out of you, let's move on. Okay, so you can upload your photo. You can do a portal greeting. If you have listings, you can set it up when they come to the portal. They can view all your active listings. My favorite thing is I'm a video nerd. I love videos. I love I love being on video. I don't know if y'all like the face-to-face for the association, but I do Monday minutes. Usually every Monday. This Monday's minute was 9 minutes long, so it didn't go out, but it was a really good one. It was like a Monday moment. But seriously, nothing ranks as well when it comes to SEO than videos. So if you have a quick video, I mean, take the iPhone, or your crazy Android people, no offense. Take your phone, do your little video, upload it through, if you have an iPhone, airdrop it to your Mac, upload it to YouTube, take seconds, introduce yourself to the world. Plus, those videos don't always look as great as the Photoshopped, airbrushed headshots. And then finally, your contact info. Once again, all those fields you had to fill out, use as many of them as you want. It'll fill it in on the left-hand side of your portal. You always want people to find you because you're your own brand. Okay, we've been in here an hour. Is anyone exhausted yet? Have I scared anybody? Okay, so Trent requires I give y'all a break. So if everyone can be back here at 2:05, we'll cut it slightly short, and that way we can get out of here a little early too. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for bringing it up.
Kelly, what am I doing today? Add a local insight. Kelly, what am I doing tomorrow?
Got it.
We need a pool.
Let's start with a budget. But don't we want to live close to
My parents.
my parents? We'll pick this up later. Nice.
Okay, now what? Remember the guide? Now, how about that pool?
Companies are nothing more than people. People create everything inside an organization. And what's going to make us better in the long term is the way that our people think. Our goal is to tap the way people think and put it to use for everybody.
Keller Williams is going to listen to what their agents want for tech.
To break and rebuild the entire command system, which is what we call the lab process.
Saying, okay, tell us what works, tell us what doesn't.
There were a lot of, can we do this, can we do that? The answer is always going to be yes.
I feel like I designed it.
I really want to show you some updates and products, mostly command.
Our agents can be smarter.
I'm not doing multiple data entry and things aren't falling through the cracks. They're all in one place.
Now we can focus on the relationship with the clients.
I like to call it high tech and high touch.
We're creating the industry's first innovation partnership with all of the agents out there.
I feel like I'm on the cutting edge of my profession.
This is for the agents. This is for the people that are actually doing the work on a daily basis.
They invest in not just the technology, but also in the people in the company.
Command makes my life easy.
So when people say you can't build software, well, actually we can, and we actually are.
Hi Avis, we just wanted to congratulate you on your retirement from the Texas Real Estate Commission. We appreciate your last 12 years of service, and now we know you can spend more time with us and your grandkids. So congratulations. We love you. Congratulations.
The lab's experience has been wonderful.
This is for the agents.
Real estate in a way that hasn't been done before.
Keller Williams is asking agents what they want and then doing everything possible to deliver that.
They're keeping it real simple. That means that our agents can be smarter.
High tech and high touch.
Break and rebuild
Tell us what works, tell us what doesn't.
so that we can go out there and be the most impactful real estate professional with a human interaction and also live the life that we've been dreaming of.
One of the secrets to great success is to change your perspective on failure. Everyone experiences failures before they ultimately succeed. Some let their failures stop them. Some keep trying. You'll probably have to fail a few times before you get it right. Success is not about avoiding failure. Failure is about avoiding failure. Success is about trying. Fail fast, fail forward, fail often.
You guys can't see, but I have the one and only Gary Keller behind me and Seth Campbell.
Where? Here we are. We're here.
Here we go. Look at this. Here he is. We're just doing a quick command overview. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
Great to see you.
This is command overview. So we're just doing command, step-by-step instructions to get started. If you've never logged in, we're just walking through everything.
Perfect.
So yeah, so that's what we're doing.
Keller Williams was kind of a cultural experiment. At the end of the day, I wanted to see if I could build an organization that put people first.
As soon as I heard about the economic model and how they were going to share with all the people that helped build the company, I actually said, this will be the #1 company in the world.
The Y4C2Ts was the first time in my life that I'd seen a company actually express their value system and what they believed in on paper.
We are no longer outsourcing to third-party companies. World-class technology companies don't rent their vision.
Yeah, not really any thought to it. It's just, hey, do this, do that. Okay, maybe it'll stop making noise now. Sorry. So the next couple things are going to be, you're going to have some freedom to do things, either follow along with however I do it, or you can go off into left field. Do any of y'all have a buyer you're currently working with right now? Have you set them up on an auto email yet?
I literally just got her contact info today.
So do you know what she's looking for?
Yeah.
Cool. So while I'm going off on when I show them how to do the make-believe search that I'm putting together, feel free to do what your client's looking for.
Okay.
And then if you run into snafus, I can jump in and help you.
Thank you.
So yeah, so that's what this is all about. Hands-on. So if you once again can't talk today, if you have a client that you're already working with and you know what they want, great. If you want to follow along with exactly what I'm doing, great. If you want to just kind of do your own thing, I'll try to help. Okay. So the very top, back in my matrix, click on contacts. And I'll say the great thing about Matrix, about the MLS, is there's like 47 different ways to do the same thing. You want to add a contact? You can go to contacts, you can go to listings, you can go search. There's so many different ways to add contacts. This is just the easiest way. That was easy. To do that. I just saw that button, I had to press it. So these are the 5 contacts that I've made up over time. They have no rhyme or reason other than they're mostly superheroes. So, do we have any fake client we want to make up today? You guys want to follow my lead? Otherwise, we're going to set up Captain America. Yeah, I can't remember his real name though. Anybody else remember? Like me?
So, quick question. This is unrelated to all the contacts that we have in command?
Yeah. In what?
In command.
Correct. They don't connect together.
Okay.
So this is just within the MLS. So they don't talk. I don't know if these clients export into command, but I know that you can't import into Matrix.
So what contacts do we want to put in here? Just people that we're setting up on.
Just people you're setting up on buyer searches. You could turn around and make this a CMS, I can't look for it.
CMA.
Not a CMA.
No.
Why am I drawing a blank here? Anyway, you could turn on make it your client management system.
Oh.
You could turn, I'm totally drawing a blank on
CRM.
Thank you. Client relation manager. There we go. Thank you. You could turn around and make it that, or like I said, just use it just for searches and nothing else. So we're going to go ahead and add a person in here today. Anyone have any?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. We're just going to call her that, Wonder Woman. So, the wonderful thing about this is it's kind of dummy proof. You see how there's 3 fields that are highlighted yellow? Those are the required fields. You have to have a first name, a last name, and an email address. Now, if you want, there's 47 other fields in here. You could sit here and take notes and about their kids and what they like and what they dislike, or you could just use your CRM if you have one. For this, I just first name, last name, email address. At the very top, there's this button that says Enable Reverse Prospecting. Reverse prospecting is a pretty cool tool. That's also kind of scary your first time. What reverse prospecting will do is if you have a listing that, for whatever reason, you know it's priced right, you know it's clean, you know it doesn't have, litter box smell, you just can't figure out why the property is not moving, you can actually go through the MLS and do a reverse prospect and email all the realtors that have clients who match your property. Does that make sense? So like, let's say you have a $750,000 estate on the river that's absolutely stunning, gorgeous, but no one's come to see it and you don't know why. You can go and you can run reverse prospecting and it'll email the agent and say, you have this client who is interested. It does not show the other realtor. You as the listing agent don't know the buyer's name, so there's no way you can go in there and snarf someone else's client. It's just pretty much, hey, you have a client that matches my client's listings. I'd love to get them out for a showing and see what they think. Sometimes it's the criteria changed halfway through and the property just got missed. Okay. Once you've added Wonder Woman, go ahead and hit save. And now she is added forever into my contacts. So I will show you a couple things in the contact screen. You have these arrows to the left. So with each of these arrows, you can click and it'll expand and give you more info on that client. So like for example, this client has one auto email. It's called, and then I can just literally hone down and I can learn all about it. So like for example, this dude was looking to be 10 miles from a hospital on the northwest side of Georgetown. This is all the criteria. We did a map search combined with the property search. And then these are all the emails that he has been sent. And he has never opened a single one of them. Probably because IamBobDole.com does not exist, I really hope. Someone did have Tony Stark at gmail.com now. I was kind of impressed. So I've had to stop using that email address. So you can go back through and your client, you can say, well, we sent you this property on this date, this time. And then your client can actually go through, leave notes. Your client can go through thumbs up, thumbs down. They can say, oh my goodness, I told you I did not want a house that had green countertops. Why would you even send me this house? And that's when you're like, well, I don't actually get to preview all those listings before they go out. I just send you what's in your criteria, and unfortunately, green countertops is not an option I can disable. And usually they're good. Another option that I'll go and show you is you can do what's called concierge mode. At some point in time, you'll get that client that is just so much fun to work with. They're going to come back and they're not going to want to see any listing that doesn't already meet all of their criteria. So on concierge mode, you can actually go through and it'll pull it and say, these are the 12 items that match picky buyer. And then you can go through and say, this one matches all of what they need. Send this one. Oh no, this one doesn't have, you know, the basement that doesn't exist in Round Rock. Which there is one neighborhood in Round Rock that has basements. Fun fact. So, you know, you can go through and you can approve, deny, so they get only what they want. Before you ever enable that for a client, talk to your team lead, talk to someone else that knows more of what they're doing than you do. Make sure that there's no implications for doing so. Sometimes some people get really finicky about, well, if you only show them certain listings, there's certain legal issues that come into play, so always consult with your broker or your team lead before enabling concierge mode on any fun clients. Okay. Also, when we go back, if you had set up CNAs or you had set up multiple different emails, save searches, they can go into the portal and actually look on their own. You can see everything they've ever done. So you can get a notification that, you know, even though Wonder Woman told you her budget was 300 to 400, and she's pre-qualified for 400, everything that she looks at is at 250 to 300 when she looks on her own. She's obviously missing something from the service that you're providing her. So you can see what they view on the portal, which will then strike up a phone call of, hey, I notice you're looking at different houses within the portal than are on your auto search. Do we need to fix your auto search? Is there something going on? Etc. Does that make sense? See, I just made your job as a buyer data 10 times harder. You're welcome. Question?
Can you say that again?
Yeah. So if you look at like on the handout page 6, you can see all the different options of a client that's actually super involved. One of them is portal activity and portal searches. So if you look and see that your client is searching in their portal for something different than what you have them set up on an auto email for, that's your cue to pick up the phone and say, hey, I noticed you were looking at blah, 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 blah. I have this set up. Is there something we need to tweak? Maybe a better example is, you told me you only wanted to live in Round Rock ISD. Why are you looking at houses in Liberty Hill? Maybe a little bit more nicer than that. Like, hey, I thought you wanted Round Rock ISD. I see you're looking at Liberty Hill. Do you want me to change this, set you up a whole Liberty Hill search too? Because you can do multiple searches per client. Maybe that was much nicer than what you doing.
Could you look at my computer real quick?
Yeah.
It's like I have a buyer who it says visited their portal, but then I click on it and it goes to a picture of me.
Okay, so go back to the matrix. Click on. So all that's telling you is that they've gone into their portal, and their portal is from the auto emails.
Oh, okay. So I can't see what they're looking at.
So if you go look at it from the sent email, they're clicking on these, and then going. So like they viewed. So at 12:43, they viewed these two emails. On the 29th, they went and viewed that email twice.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to pull both of them together.
Okay. But it doesn't look like that on their screen. It's just a picture.
Only on you. So yeah.
Okay.
So whenever when they click on the link in their email, and I'll show you in a second, they'll have an option to see all of the listings that actually go into their portal. In fact, you have the button that says Open Portal.
Yes. Open in portal.
So if you click on it, remember I said your big picture would show up?
Yep.
So this is what the portal looks like. I had all this stuff, I had the video, and then my searches, my favorites, and messages are all the things that they'll see. And if they decide to go to find a home on their own, That's what'll show up in their portal searches. It could be they were bored and they wanted to see what pretty houses existed in Liberty Hill. I don't know. Okay, does that help? Yeah,
It
go for it.
does. So, going back to seeing if that client was searching for houses in Liberty Hill whenever they told you they wanted to live in Buda, it would notify me in Matrix.
Correct. It'll show you. So in here, one of these options would be auto emails, sent emails, portal searches, portal activity.
Okay.
So in portal searches, you would then be able to see what criteria they chose. And this usually only goes back 30, 60, 90 days. It doesn't go back super far. So if you kind of forgot about a client or you have a silent client, you need to keep checking in on them every 30 days to make sure they're clicking on their links. Because if not, you get a really fun email that says, this email has been deactivated because your client has never clicked on the link. It looks like this.
I noticed that it also tells you whenever your clients have opted out of recurring emails.
Yep. Pepper at Tony Stark. Mark, that's what it was. Pepper at Tony Stark. Mark your emails as junk. Apparently that email exists. Same thing. So like when your agent, whenever your client gets an email, this is what their email would look like. Hopefully they would have more than one listing in there.
So here's another one for you. So I had a client that says, oh, by mistake, I clicked, I don't want to get your emails. How can I go back? Can you share that with us as well?
Yes. There's two ways. One, they can click this button if you want to unsubscribe. However, let's say 6 months down the road they decide they want to start getting emails again. They are SOL. They are sorry out of luck. You're like, sorry, you gotta make up a new fake email address because you've already told me you don't want my stuff anymore. The other way is you can go into your matrix on auto email. If we had an active auto email, you can just, there's a button that'll say like suspend email or cancel. I'll show you that when we get there.
Okay.
But yeah, you can go in there and you can stop. Delete auto email. It deletes the save search, it deletes everything. And then you can set them back up. Or what you can do is you can come back over to the criteria and then you can set them up on a monthly email versus a daily email. There's a couple of tweaks. So, up here in the top right-hand corner, there's this box that says Recent Searches. This will become your new best friend. How many of you have ever been doing something and then you're looking at the listing? Someone calls you about a listing and you pull it up, then the dog starts barking in the backyard, the baby starts crying, the cable man knocks on the front door, then 3 hours later you come back to your computer and you're like, oh, darn, I'm being recorded, I can't cut. Oh darn, I forgot what listing that was. You can go back as long as you've already pulled it up. Go to recent searches and it'll say this MLS number or this address. And it shows, I want to say like the last 20 or 30 searches that you've done in the last 7 days. 7 or 30 days. If you do an actual search, it'll also show you how many results showed up. So apparently when I ran a commercial property type that was active taking backups last Wednesday, I ran that for whatever reason, I got 680 results. So you can glance at stuff and make sure it's accurate and you remember. Make sense so far?
So going back to my matrix and then the contacts, whenever you set someone up as a contact, does it automatically send them something notifying them that you set them up?
No. They will only get an email once you've set up an auto search for them.
Okay, so you need to actually go in and set up the filters.
Yes.
And then it'll send them an email.
Correct. So like you can, because yeah, so there's this portal with this link that is specific to just them. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to actually set them up on a search, have them they'll click on it and then they'll have a way to go into that profile.
Are we gonna walk through someone else?
About to do that right now. Yep. That's pretty much what the next hour and a half is going to be. So I'm going to show you more than one way to, so there's more than one way to skin a cat. I'm going to show you more than one way to search for listings in the MLS. And because you're going to run into random issues, and I promise you, you're going to forget. And I was like, well, that big guy, he was telling me about some sort of map search with a circle and a radius, and in 3 weeks when it comes up, call me. I'll be happy to help you. I'll walk you back through it. It's not a big deal. So once you have to go to search, and I'm a big fan of cross property, go to quick. A quick search will have all of the basics you need to survive pre-filled in for you. What is the status? Where is it? What school district is it? How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? How many garages? What's the price? Anything more complex than that, we can take care of under additional fields. All those are fields that I've added in the process of 3 years. I'm going to get rid of all of them real fast too. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that. So, I always like to use a doctor because it's really easy. How many of y'all have husband and wives? Or maybe not. You don't have very many clients yet. At some point, you'll have a client that'll say, I work here, my spouse works here, we want to make sure we're somewhere in the middle. And you're like, well, let me get out my MLS. There's tools in the MLS to help you do all this stuff. So if the main criteria, your client goes back and says, I want to live in the middle of both of our jobs. You can, first thing you do is come over here to map. And we're going to zoom in a little bit closer. So for example, let's not say, so I work in Round Rock, right about here. My spouse works in Leander. And then you just take the radius of both of those, and you make two different circles. One from Round Rock to Leander, one from Leander to Round Rock. And now, what you do is then you can take all of this info outside your circle, retrace over, and exclude that from your search results. So really, really fast, I'm going to walk you through how to do it again. Just wanted you to be amazed. Did you learn something new?
Yes, that's new.
Okay, yes. So, I know I lost it, so we're going to start over again, okay? Okay. So, what you're going to do, you have one person that works in Round Rock and one that works in Leander, and they want to live somewhere in the middle. You're going to draw two circles. You're going to go up here to your circle tool, which is your radius tool. You're going to start as close to the spouse's work as possible. So hypothetically, we're going to start here at Bryson. Drag it to just around where Old Settlers is. So it's 12.38 miles as the crow flies. Or, when you take the toll road, 37 miles. And then you're going to take the circle again, go back to where the other spouse works, and draw a circle, and you're going to connect them to dot to dot, right? All right, two big old eyes with little red glowy dots in the middle.
How are you getting a circle?
The very, very top, there's, I guess I should have covered that first. At the very top, there's 4 different types of tools. There's the radius tool, which I call the circle tool. It's like a giant protractor. And that one also works really well. Let's say you have someone who is a doctor at a hospital, and they have to live within 10 miles of the hospital. You can find the hospital on the map and take your radius out 10 miles, and it'll show you how many miles it is. Close enough. And then it'll say, okay, if the hospital is that red dot, here's all the listings that are within 10 miles. And then you can start narrowing it down by price of bedrooms and bathrooms and lions and tigers and bears. But back to, so that's the radius tool. The box tool, or the draw rectangle, makes you a nice, beautiful, wide rectangle. What you would use that for, I have no idea, in all honesty. Unless you're really zoomed in. My favorite tool, other than the radius tool, my little owl eyes, is the third one, called a polygon. Poly meaning many. You can make this shape look however you want it to look. I could spell my name with it. Why we would search in this random K, I don't know, but hey. So you could sit there and you could just make whatever shape you want. Or, in this first example with this polygon tool, you can trace the dots. Now, I traced on the outside. I did that does not include. You can also do where you trace inside the dots. With your polygon, just do the best that you can. No one's going to get mad at you if it's not perfect, except for your client, because you missed out on the dream house they always wanted. That was the third joke I didn't laugh at today.
I snickered.
You did snicker, thank you. I'm second guessing all of my career choices. Okay, so include this shape. But see, that didn't really do much because it still has all three of those selected. So what you'll do is you'll actually go on the outside, draw on the outside of the circle, that was not tricky at all. Try this the third time. I got it perfect the first time. Just kind of draw to outline your circles. And even if you go outside of your circle, no one's going to get hurt because you're just not including that area. Exclude this shape. Boom. And then you're doing it again on the other side. Have I lost anybody yet, by the way?
The reason we're doing this is to find the middle ground between two workplaces.
Yes. And I know it sounds cheesy, but that was how my spouse and I found the last house we bought, or we lived at. We couldn't agree where to live, except for we wanted to live in a specific school district, and it would have been great if it was in between both of where we worked. So instead we moved out to Leander, which was only in Leander, so it was the only thing we wanted. So now that being said, now you're only looking for homes in that general consensus area. So then you're going to come back over to criteria, and now you're going to say, well, you're pre-qualified for 325. So we're going to search up to 335. Let's just say, I don't know. Does that make sense why I would put it a little bit higher? Maybe they have a down payment. Maybe they have there's some negotiating room. You know, it's not going to be a seller's market always. So that's the kind of things that you as the realtor will work with. So 335 is their 325 is their maximum. What we'll do is we'll type in 335 negative, which means anything that is $335,000 or less. Does that make sense? So we gave them a $10,000 buffer that maybe they actually have some money that they want to put down, or they have this and they know. You could have clients that are pre-qualified for $200,000, but they have $300,000 in the bank, so you're looking at $500,000 houses. Different things like that. Bedrooms. How many bedrooms do people want to have usually? 4? 4 or more? Okay. So if you type in 4, it'll only pull up the houses that have 4 bedrooms. If you do 4+, it'll pull up houses that have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 bedrooms. And these people are picky. They also want 3 bathrooms. So each kid gets their own bedroom, has their own bathroom, and there's an office. Make sense? So now we're down to three listings based upon what's in CTX and West. If you're using Austin, you're going to get a whole lot more listings for the area that I chose. Just know that. And then you're going to come down here and you're going to look at results. So here's these 3 properties. Now, actually, yours will look like this. Here's the 3 properties. You can then start playing around with anything and everything. You can rearrange where fields are. You can add fields. You can add columns. You can take columns out. Like, for example, let's say you don't really care to see pictures or maps or schedule showings from this field. You can delete each of these columns and never see them again. You don't care the price per square foot for whatever reason. Like, there's all these different things.
Do you mind going over deleting the ones, let's say?
Yeah, so you're going to click in the white space above here until you get the crosshairs that look like what I have. Click it, and then it's in there, so you can actually rename it if you want. Or you can hit remove column. And it'll slowly remove all those columns. So that's all fine and dandy, but you have to remember to save this view. Just because you made the changes right now doesn't mean the next time you go to search, those settings will show back up unless you save it. Right? So then you have this wonderful cog, or I think it's called a cog. It's the gear in the upper right hand corner. You're going to click that button. Oh, wait. Yeah. You're going to click that button, then set current display sort order count as my search starting default. Now you have recreated that, and it called itself my means one of yours. Changes to that setup. And then you're also going to click it again. And now that you've done that, when you set it as the default, every time you go to that screen, the search screen, you'll lose all those columns to the side. Let's say you've added columns. I've been told not to do this because it could be considered not a good business practice. But you can add listing agent contact info. So if you're just looking in the single display, you can at a glance know who to call. Some people can use that maliciously. I'm not going to show you how to do it, but just know you can do it. My favorite view is you can also click on here and go to 360 property view. I am not encouraging anyone to use that maliciously. I just want to make sure that was very clear. So 360 property view is what takes Realist and puts it into the MLS. Because you have text, photos, parcel map, flood map, everything that you would have in Realist is now in Matrix. Does that make sense? So what? Yep. So when you're looking at the listing, this is going to look slightly different than what you see in Actress, but you can view all the pictures. You can click right here and schedule a showing. Like when I say it's super easy to schedule a showing. Here's all the times that property is available to be seen. Done. Property scheduled.
Where was the schedule showing?
Right below the picture, and then down again at the bottom. So then you can go through and you can read up about the listing, make sure everything's right, see what's weird about it. When you're done, you can go back to the single line, And then we're going to click on save at the very, very bottom. Or we may come back and say, hey buyers, you only have 3 houses that match your criteria. How important is that 3rd bathroom? Do you have to have that 3rd bathroom? What if we did 2.5 baths? Things like that. So then you can actually go back to criteria. You get them to agree to two baths. Now they have 12 properties they can see. So by giving up that bath, you then get 4 times the number of search results. Does that make sense? And so that's how you can play around. Or you can say, even if you go up a little bit on price, you get more search results. And then that's where you play around and tweak with stuff. Now, let's say they come back and say, that's all fine and dandy. All I really care about is that the master's on the main level. That's not a common field, even though it really should be. It's not a common field. You're going to come down here to additional fields, click on add. In Central Texas, it's under interior features. In Austin, it's under, you search for master. I think it's called master on main, Y or N in Austin. And so then interior features, I look for master, and I go to master down. And now I'm back down. I think if you just search master, M-A-S-T-E-R,
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything.
try interior features, they might have made a change. Okay. Go back. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Because that's a new change. That's not good.
But I do, like, I think even my buyers right now need that, so.
I'll have to look and see where to find that then.
Okay.
Give me a minute and we'll look for that. So now that we've added that criteria, it's now down to 7. We go back to results. And then they agree, okay, these are fine, we'll start here. You go down to the bottom and click on save. Then you have 3 options. You can do a new save search, a new auto email, or a new speed bar shortcut. Don't ever make a speed bar shortcut. I've been trying for 10 years and I can't ever get it to work. I'll just tell you that now. Mm-hmm. It's a great idea. I've never been able to actually make it work in practice. If you do a new saved search, that's the search that'll show up on your home screen under the My Saved Search section, or you can do new auto email. Okay, so when this happens, a couple things. You go, oh crap, I forgot to add my client. I have to start all over again. No, you don't have to. You can click on create new contact and create another contact from there. So there's more than one way to do everything in Matrix. So it'll show you your 3 most recent clients. Otherwise you can click more and then it'll show you the rest. Poor Daffy Duck, he's grayed out. Daffy, he unsubscribed from emails. He clicked the link and so he's been banned. He's like blocked. He's like on the do not email list. Unless you have to create a whole new Daffy Duck contact. Daffy Duck 2.0. The artist formerly known as Daffy Duck, something like that. And then that way he's not grayed out and sad. So I believe we were doing Wonder Woman here. Okay. There's an option to add a CC, a carbon copy. I'd say, does anyone remember what a carbon copy actually is? Did anyone actually have to use them? Okay, so like it was like you would have like duplicate and triplicate forms. I was somewhere the other day and they actually still had them. Lucy in the Skies downtown rents costumes for holidays, and they still do all their credit cards on triplicate forms for like deposits and stuff. It's the trippiest thing. But anyway, you can carbon copy. I digress. I'm like the worst squirrel. You can add carbon copy, so you can actually go through, and we know Wonder Woman has a sidekick, whoever that may be, and you can add that person to all their emails. Maybe you have the overreaching mother that's helping her child buy the house for the first time, and she calls you up because she's like, "Why am I not getting these emails? I need to help Bobby buy his house." You can add her email there. There's this third option that comes pre-checked. I really, really recommend not unchecking that box. It copies you on all the emails, but it blind copies you. So your client doesn't know you get those emails. Because, while you're sitting at home in the morning, the kids are off to school, you're sitting in your office, and then you hear ding, 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 ding. All your morning auto emails go out. So you can go through and you can scroll and see what's changed. You can actually pick up the phone and be like, "Hey client, remember that property we looked at a few weeks ago you thought was overpriced? I just sent it to you again. They just dropped the price on it this morning. You want to go try to look at it again?" That way you know what your client's getting. Or there's also nothing worse. Whenever the 5 o'clock email comes out, it goes up twice a day. I think it's 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. There's nothing worse than, you picked up the kids from school, you're running late to soccer practice, you need to go to the grocery store, the baby's crying in the back seat, and your client calls. "Hey, that listing you just sent me is wonderful, let's go look at it." And in your head, you're like, "I just sent him a listing?" But that's why it's good to copy yourself on those emails. That way you can just go straight into your email, find the one that went to Wonder Woman, and pull up that property and then go schedule it. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's all about things that may clutter your inbox a little bit, but help make your job easier in the long run. Otherwise, you'd have to go to my matrix, my contacts, find Wonder Woman, remember which auto email she was talking about when she called you 3 hours ago, and then open it up. So then you have the subject line. Make it something that your client will want to open. So, for example, if you have a client who's looking in either like Buda or Leander, you're going to set those up on 2 different searches. So you call it, homes in Buda, or this case is homes in between work. Something that your clients will know. They'll see your name. They'll be like, "That agent is so awesome. They send me emails every single day at 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock. I had a friend of mine that was buying a house, and she was just amazed. She was, anyway, she was a little naive. But she was like, "This realtor is so great. They send me emails twice a day. They're taking their time out of the day early in the morning and right before the kids get out of school, and they're finding all the new properties and just emailing them to me." She had no idea it was done automatically. She thought it was something the agent actually did for her. So make it something that they'll want to answer. The first time they get an email, the first email will say, "Welcome to the portal." It'll give you a whole bunch of stuff. You can rewrite that if you want to. If you want it to sound more your conversation, less wah, you could do that. So you can make whatever changes you want. And then if that's the case, you're going to click on the cog or the gear right here in the bottom right hand corner. And then set current message as my default welcome email. I thought it was going to push out, threw me off. You can also remember that, 6 months down the road, you can realize you have a typo in your email. You can fix it and resave as the default, or you can just reset to the system default and never have to worry about embarrassing yourself again. Totally up to you. I like to write. I like to say things that sound like they're my conversation, so I make those changes. Remember that email signature we made a while back? And I said it's going to come and rear its ugly little head? You're good. It shows back up here in the same colors. WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get. You saw blue and orange and hyperlinks and pictures and lions and tigers and bears. That's what's showing up here. Minus my picture because I forgot to say it. That makes sense? Okay. If you don't like the way this looks, you can then edit your signature. Again, that's perfectly capable. It'll then say, so this is the search you're sending out. Active and pending taking backups. With this latitude and this longitude, but not this latitude and longitude because we did the maps. The price, all the criteria. You're going to double check it because then you get to this point and you're like, what row? I forgot to add that it needs to be in a certain school district. And so then you have to go all the way back and start all over again. But luckily, all you've done is added carbon copy and you've updated the text a little bit. Make sense? I promise we're going to break after this. I know y'all are like hitting that wall. Under concierge mode, under settings, there's 3 options. Enable concierge mode, when I'm talking about the special clients that you just need to do a little bit of hand holding. You'll click that box. You would show this contact and reverse prospecting results. That's where that links together. This search has pulled up all those properties, and those properties are tied back to the client Wonder Woman. Or then you can enable it as a favorite search on your home screen. Let's say it's something that you want to just keep an eye on. You don't want to send out the concierge mode. You don't want it to show the reverse prospect, but you want to be able to access it pretty quickly. You can check that box. The last option is scheduled. There's a couple different ways to pick it. And I say, know your audience before you do it. ASAP. That means every time the agent enters a listing, and then edits the listing because they screwed up, and then adds the photo, and then edits the listing again because they screwed up again adding the photos, that property will get emailed out. So if there's 800 if they just want to live in Central Texas and there's no area restrictions, and you do ASAP, they'll be getting 90 plus emails a day of new listings. You can also do daily. You can do all AM, all PM. AM is between 8 and 9 AM. PM is between 4 and 5 PM. So you can have them send out twice a day. So now instead of 80 emails, they get 2 emails. Or you can do the monthly email. The monthly email is for that client that is like, yeah, I'm looking, but my lease isn't up for like 7 more months. I'm just, cash about it. I just want to go look at pretty houses whenever you have time. Those are your monthly email people. Or if you want to set them up on a weekly email, you do just Monday AM or just Friday AM. I would do Monday because if you send them on Friday, they're going to want to take up your whole weekend, which is your money making time. Put them on Monday or Tuesday, whatever day is your slow day. That way, if they find something that they like, you can contact them. And we can always come back and adjust this after the fact. So if the client is on once a week emails right now, but then 6 months down the road, they're like, oh my God, I'm ready to buy this week. I have to buy this week. You can turn them on to ASAP like that. Have I lost anybody?
I don't see all those options under the Safe Search.
Okay, let me see what you have real quick.
I only see.
Did you do Safe Search or did you do Auto Email?
Oh, I did Safe Search.
You want to do Auto Email. So hit cancel.
Oh, actually, it gave me the option to turn it into Save Up. Okay.
So go back to back again. So what you'll do is go to settings or criteria.
Is this one supposed to play?
Yes.
That makes more sense.
And so it caps it out at 250 listings. So whatever criteria you sent them has more than 250. So you may want to go back and narrow down some way, either an area, and you can do that. So then let's say the client comes back and says, you're sending me too many listings. Or, thanks for sending me these, but all these listings suck because I didn't want to live in between work. I wanted to live 40 miles away from work. You can go into My Matrix, Contacts, pull the client up, pull up their auto email, pull up that, and then go to Criteria, and then you can make all the changes there. And then you would just go back through. Once that's been done, click on Save again, and you're done. That sound good? Okay, we'll take a 10-minute break, back in at 3:05, and then we're on the final home stretch.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So, if I'm trying to narrow this down, I'm doing anything less than 150,000.
Okay.
Really anywhere in the Austin area, like it doesn't have to be in Austin, it can be outside.
Yes.
But I'm trying to make sure that it's not like just a lot. So if I click residential, that should only show homes, right?
So then what we'll do under sub-property type, you want to make sure that there's not C agent.
Not C agent?
Correct, so click not.
Not C agent.
That knocks 4 of them off.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, so it has to be under 250, you're saying?
Yeah, correct. So what you could do is, so go back to your, what was the map search? Yeah, click on map search. So then what you can do is you can draw.
You can just draw it closer to Austin.
You can draw your radius.
Yeah.
And then zoom out a little bit. Keep going a little bit. Do like a couple more clicks. And now do it from Austin to like Gerald. You're gonna get it. And just keep dragging it to like Georgetown, however far north you think they want to go. So you can tell them, hey, I went 17 miles from Austin proper.
Yeah.
Okay, so then when you set that, hit OK. And then you go to 38.
Yeah, that seems right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Kent, I'm sorry.
You're good. I answered everything.
I had the ENT part.
You did, yes. I answered to a lot of different things. Hey, you.
So I want to show you something that
Okay.
a friend of mine gets out of this.
Sorry.
I know, it's weird, isn't it? I feel like it makes things look.
That's what I would think, but it really doesn't.
So, what we did was like,
labels.
so for labels, like I pulled a whole section in my neighborhood that I'm farming.
Okay.
And if Realist isn't available,
You
how
would
would
do
I
it.
find and get this information into
Got it.
Excel?
I'm going to show that in the next go round. So
Okay.
I'll make sure I show that to everyone.
Okay.
But yes.
Sounds good.
What you'll do, and then instead of cross property, you'll do public record search.
Public records.
You'll just search public records, and then you'll go into neighborhood, and you would do it the same way as you would in Realist.
Okay.
I don't know why I keep losing the automatic email link. Where you're getting that?
So click on the save searches, edit, click the words.
The words.
Sorry. Click on this, and then criteria. Save. Those settings. Those are the wrong button. Turn the save search.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay,
And
I'll
then
take
give
a
it a
break.
subject. Yes.
Well, I just wanted to let you guys know, if you didn't watch the team meeting, that we're doing Toys for Tots.
If you didn't watch the team meeting, you're fired.
Yeah, no. And so the Marines came today, see Mister, and brought us some swag. So there's like little pins. I know you want to wear this bracelet, and then some magnets. So you can help yourself. And if you know a business that might be interested in having a box in their location, please let us know. So.
If we're gonna collect them.
Yeah, we're so
could we do that?
You can
individually.
You can do it on your own, or we're working on some marketing collateral that we'll have out at the end of the week that you can customize with like your information. But don't let us hold you up if you want to go do that on your own.
Okay.
But we're
Hey, awesome agents. I just wanted to tell you some cool stuff that was happening here at Keller Williams Round Rock.
Hi, thanks for stopping by today. Hi, I'm Siobhan Martin with Keller Williams Realty.
Keller Williams Agents. This is Greg Gearing with GDA Property Management. Wait.
Allowing agents to choose their own loan officer is really exciting for the agents and for the loan officers. Being able to get into a rhythm with a particular agent or particular team.
Brian stands out because of his service, the way that he's able to communicate with us. I can call him at any time, even on the weekend. Yay!
My preferred loan officer with Keller Mortgage is Lisa. I love working with her because she's prompt, very experienced, and works well with all of my clients.
Working with Amy has been great. She's getting the service that she needs for her clients. I've been working with several agents on a repeat basis, but this will make it so much easier.
There's so many disruptors in our industry. You have to start thinking, how can you save your clients the most amount of money? What is best for the client? The most important part about Keller Mortgage is that they're adding value. The fact that everything keeps moving in the right direction because it's designed for agents. It's a no-brainer and it's going to keep getting better.
There are millions of residences across the country, but every one is a home. A home for families of all types. A place to live, rest, and make your own. A home for all your things and all you love. A safe place you want to keep safe. But stuff happens. Little stuff. But now, more really serious stuff that leaves the majority of homeowners underinsured and at financial risk if there's a fire, flood, hurricane, or major claim. Why is that? Home insurance is complex, jargony, mystifying. In times when everything's getting easier, why hasn't someone stepped up to make getting insurance easier? Now, there's a better way, a simpler way, a perfectly timed way, a way provided exclusively by Keller Williams agents. Say hello to Keller Covered. It's home insurance made awesomely simple. It's a revolution for your clients and for you. For your clients, Keller Covered makes it easy to compare quotes from a variety of top carriers in one place. Information on a client's new home.
This is what they get. It's this nice, long, welcome to the portal. Text me, you got this email. I think I have that one on there. But, like, you know, just, it tells them what to do. They click the link, life is good, right? So when you were saying, what does the portal look like? So the client will click this link, and then it'll show whatever you called the search. So if you type out the word annuity, like I just did, it'll show up every single time they click on the link. But this is what they'll see. So they'll get a map. They have a couple different, it defaults to the map on the left and the listings on the right. you can click these buttons over here to the side, and it'll make changes for you. So it's totally up to them. So they can go through. I have a message. Oh, okay. So the client can go through, click on stuff, and if it was the client, they can heart listings they like. They can thumbs down or dislike. I think the dislike is a broken heart. And then the ones they kind of like are ideas, the little light bulb. And then they can make notes over here off to the side. Like, you know, it may be something like, I really like this porch that's attached to the front of the house. Can we see more houses like this? And then as they start leaving their feedback, then you start learning what they're really looking for. This tool is really good because it opens that dialogue between you and your client.
Quick question for
Yeah.
y'all experienced.
I have no experience. I just teach class.
Okay. Well, so is this something that you would teach your clients to use? Like, would you
Yeah.
brief them on all the features that way they know? Like,
So you have that.
like I wonder if she does that.
Do you do
Is it
anything
good?
special with the portal? Do you teach them how to use it, or do you just sit and let them do their thing?
Actually, I have not.
Okay.
They take it, if they have any questions, but I've been in the conversation with their, I get online, I'm seeing what they're typing, go back and forth. I have not had no one has said, hey, can you teach me how to do this? No.
And you don't brief them ahead of time, like this is some of the things that.
Oh no, I do give them a brief.
You do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that is with my bio consultation comes in. Oh yeah.
And you have a Mac, so it's really easy to record your screen.
Right.
And you have iMovie, which is really good. You then take your recorded screen and talk over it. Hint, hint.
Okay.
So you could actually go in as the portal and show your client, and you can have a little video that you've made of how to use your portal. And your welcome email, instead of being Charlie Brown, wah, 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 click here to learn how to use your portal.
There you go.
I'll take my commission check. So you can do things like that. And
If
then
I can figure out how to use it.
the same thing when they click on My Agent, that video, you could actually put that video in there too.
Yeah. Okay.
So different things. Where'd I go? So then what they can do, so they can actually leave comments and they can do things in their portal. And then when you're in Matrix, up here, it'll show you, look, Wonder Woman recently visited her portal. She hearted 7 listings, ideaed 6, and like poo-pooed 97. Well then, so then you sit there and you say, okay, so it looks like Wonder Woman likes these, but doesn't like those. So then you can kind of learn and put it fun. So I see that every house that had crazy colored walls, you disliked. Why is that? Well, I don't want to have to paint when I move into a house. So you're like, these houses could have really good features to them, but are you sure you want to discard them over a $200 paint job? And so that gives you a chance to be educational. Your client probably will not find their house from here. Like, you'll work on it together. They're not going to sit there and just scroll and scroll and scroll and go, that's the one. They're also definitely not going to find it on Zillow or Trulia or Realtor. Maybe Realtor.com, but definitely not Zillow or Trulia. So you use this as a tool to then say, okay, so this is what I found you like, and you keep honing in what they want until you can then give them 7 to 10 listings that they can actually go look and see. Does that make sense? Okay. So, make sure I haven't forgotten anything. I tend to jump around the handout because I don't really follow it very much. Okay, so a couple other things. I mentioned Realist is going out of style. We're sad about that because we're so used to using Realist. But if you go under Search and Public Records, you can actually do a lot of what you could do in Realist. So, the biggest thing you were talking about was neighborhood. So there's 2 ways you could do your neighborhood search. search public record. Do you have that option?
I have tax record.
Same, yeah, tax record. Yep. So, I don't know, and so let's say you're one of those people that actually farms like foreclosures. So you can actually go through here and play around with everything that you used to do in Realist. But one of the biggest things is neighborhood search. So you can click this box right here, and it'll show you all the different neighborhood codes, except there's too many to display. So you would have to search. So like one of the big ones is Terra Vista right around the corner here. It's not even showing up, right? So what you can do there's this thing called a wildcard when it comes to searching and doing searches. Wildcards are going to be your asterisk symbol, which is your shift 8. When you do that, what it'll do, see, it's still not liking me. What's going on here? Subdivision.
We also don't have a search box to the right.
Yeah, ours is different than
Really?
what you
Okay.
have.
So like I said, it's going to be a little bit different. It's
Okay.
just based on what Austin's given versus what.
But the asterisk did work actually, and I've never ever been able to get anything in Glen Ellen. But
So-
now it's
you
showing
found
me all the
yours.
houses in
What's
Glen Ellen.
your neighborhood called again?
Glen Ellen. Ellen is spelled Ellyn.
So what I would do,
So Glen Ellen.
I would just do Ellen, Ellyn, and then do your little asterisks around the sides. What county is that in? Williamson?
It's probably partly on multiple counties because I'm in Travis County, but I think the north part of the neighborhood is in Williamson. But my house is in Travis.
Okay, good to know. It's not even pulling up in mine, so I'll have to look at that in a second. But what you can do is you can go through.
It's working on here.
As long as it's working, that's what's good. So what I'm a big fan of is, so what you can do is you can take, let me try this. So you want to do,
This is awesome. I found it awesome.
let's say you want to become the pool expert. So you're going to search for just houses in Leander that have a pool. How is it that get that to pull up right now? So that gives you 1,454. And then it'll give you all this information that you never wanted to know about the house. So for those of you that were asking, I used to do labels. How do I do labels? So what you can do, you see owner name, city, zip code, street address. So what you could do is you could click this button right here, which selects all, and come over here to export. You could export 5,000 listings a month. After that, you're cut off. So you better find a friend to export it for you, or really have your info honed in. So you can export those listings and make sure you know what the view is. So there's two views that come. There's tax grid, and the other one was owner view. So you can actually export. I'm just going to do a small amount of them because I may need to export this week. Probably not.
You said 5,000 per week?
Per month.
Yeah.
Per 30 days. So if you download,
Yes.
so if you download 2,500 on the first and 2,500 on the 30th, on the first again you can do 2,500 more. So it'll keep the roll. So then I'm going to export 25. You hit the export button. It creates it in an Excel document. Boom. So it gives you all the info. You have the owner's names, the city, and just some info on the house. And you can add any more than this. But like you could go back. Criteria. You could pull in just the owner occupied listings, or no, sorry, just the tenant occupied listings. So then when you send a letter to the address, that you could say, dear renter. You don't have to put the owner's name in it. You can go dear renter, or dear future homeowner, dear resident. So over here where it says owner occupied, you do yes or no.
This is on the criteria.
Under the ownership section. Do yes or no. So there you go.
I want to know the renters.
So you have 65 there, but what you want to make sure of, because you're in a new neighborhood,
Yeah.
how many of those are not builder owned?
I'm pretty sure it's completely sold.
So your neighborhood's done.
Yeah.
Okay, then you should be good.
So for me, if I want to know who the renters, I know probably a lot of them are still builder owned.
So
can I
then what you
filter
would
that
do,
out?
so what you would do is you would do owner occupied, no.
Okay.
And then when you do your results, under owner name, like Drees Custom Homes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to select all of them, but then I'm going to unselect that one. Not because I don't like my friends at Drees, but they're not looking for a realtor. You can even then go over here and you can see year built. You can add, you can go into the property ID info and look more about the property. And you can figure out under, if there's a mortgage on there, it should show in there somewhere too. So then you can figure out how long they've been in the home for. You can figure out what the vesting is. All these different things. So for example, this house is one of the nicer houses in Treviso. It has a pool, but the owners don't live there. But see right here, mail opt-out flag? Can't mail them. Got to make sure you're not sending people on the do not mail list. And so what you would do then, you have to, okay, let's make sure I don't hit that flag. You come over here, you add a field. Okay. That may be not what that field's used for then. Ignore that. Ignore that then, never mind.
No, I'm sorry. I'm saying this must be wrong because I was trying to search for the home value, but the thing that comes up is market total value.
So it's going to be an estimation.
Well, it's showing like $30,000.
So what that could mean is it's just showing the lot. There's no house that's been recorded yet. So let's say it's a new build, and the sale of the home hasn't been added to the deed, which hasn't been recorded at the tax appraiser's office. So that's where a lot of new homes will get you. The first year you move into the house, they'll charge you taxes on that $30,000 lot, and then you bought that $400,000 house, so now your taxes go from $500 to $8,000. So, but there's a couple different things that you can search for. And then you can export those labels. Once those labels are in Excel, if you'll ever used a mail merge before? Okay. So then, once they're in Excel,
do you export tax grid or owner information?
I did tax grid. I've never done owner information, so I don't know what the difference is, and I'll be honest on that one. If you create a blank document in Word, at the very top you do mailings, and labels. So now we're moving into the more advanced class. But
This is amazing.
y'all were asking. So you can come over here and you can go to options and pick the exact label based on the number. Easy peel address label. Okay. So it automatically, so this is whatever label number you have. You can then go back to mailings, start mail merge, and you're going to do labels, and it'll pop back up again. You're like, yeah, I got this down. So then, select recipients, use an existing list. Because you already have your list, right? You just exported it from Matrix. So you'll use an existing list. Tax credit. Follow me so far? And open. And yeah, it's fine. So then it'll let you go through, insert merge field. So what do we say? Current resident. And then you do address, city name, comma TX, postal code, and then you hit this wonderful button that says update labels and preview results.
Oh my gosh.
So then you want to go ahead and center them. Maybe you decide you want the current resident to be bold, and you want to play around with these, make them stand out a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, you decide you want them to be centered, and then you go back to mailings, update labels again. Boom. So now you don't have to handwrite 25 labels or 300 labels. We go back. We need to go through that one more time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so I've got the new document.
So what we did
Word.
is we downloaded the file from
I've got that.
tax records.
Yes.
You're gonna come over here. You're gonna start mail merge.
We're under
Sorry.
mailings.
Open up Word. Go to mailings.
Start mail merge.
Start mail merge. Labels.
Labels. So I'm assuming you could also do this for letters, like if you wanted to send a letter, if they were able to mail to.
Yeah, so you could do a letter in there. You could say, "Dear Steve," or "Dear current resident," or you learned something else new? Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so what it'll do is when you buy a box of labels at the store, it'll say, "Here's the code to use." So, like for example, the Avery address label, and it's 85160, right? So 85160.
This is what I need to buy, right? Those little stickers.
If you go to the store, pick up the labels, and on the front it'll tell you, like literally on the box,
right there.
It'll tell you that is right here. 5162, and then it'll say use blah blah code. And then you have your address label. You're gonna do an OK, and then it'll take whatever you have in your document, clear it all out. So you're starting fresh. You're gonna go to select recipients, use existing list. So you're not gonna create a new list, you're gonna use an existing list that's already been done for you. This saved in the downloads folder.
Okay.
Open up the file. And then if it says this file is locked for editing, it's probably because you have it open. Just, okay. So then it'll automatically add next record for you automatically. That means all you have to do is type in that first column or that first grid and then hit update labels and it'll do all the magic for you. So then we're going to go over here to insert merge fields. And let's say you're sending it to the owner. So owner mail format apparently is their first name. Address, city, we know it's Texas because that's all we search for, and then postal code. And then if you click up here to preview results, you can see what it'll look like. And then update labels, bam. I'm OCD about the way things look, so I like to go and I like to, I don't like that extra space it adds, and I like things centered, nice and even.
Yeah.
So there, you can print those off, and while you're sitting there drinking a glass of wine, watching Law & Order SVU, peel, stick. Or you give your 5-year-old, add the stickers for mommy. That's always fun to do too. And then you can still have your glass of wine. So that way and then you can, so now that you're previewing, like when you preview, you can see, okay, well, this looks weird. This is the community. I don't want that person in my list. This is a trust. Like there's different things that you can see. You're like, You go back to mailings, you can click on Edit Recipient List. Click on the data source, hit refresh, and then you can find the owner name, move it around to the front, so it's right next to your check mark right here. We're going to uncheck the ones you don't want. Mr. Teresa. Okay? Follow me so far? Click OK. And the ones that I unchecked disappeared. Something else went wrong though. Oh, I know why. Make sure you always start at 1. I was on the last page, yeah. So that way you start at number 1. And then what you can come back through, the downfall is, so then you delete these down here, or actually I lied, hold on. I always finish and merge, edit individual documents. It'll open it, it's an extra step, but it'll open it in its own document, not linked up to the mail merge. And then I can come through and I can edit. Like I can adjust these two people, or they're all on one line, or I can just change it to something different. Like you can play around with it. But then it's not tied to the query anymore. I can then delete these columns that I'm not going to use. Throw that through the printer, and I still now have 8 more labels I can reuse next time. Flip it over the other way. There's that. Okay, so another reason that people use the tax records is, let's say, clear all this stuff. I want to pull up a random house that no one I know lives in. So I call you up and I say, hey, I'm Kent Prickett and I want you to come sell my house at 302 Frio Lane. So you can come in here to this tax record and you can look at info about that listing. So first off, I said my name is Kent Prickett and I want you to sell my house at 302 Frio Lane. Tax records say it's not my house. Red flag number 1. I also say I want to sell it for $400,000. The tax appraisal office says that is a lie. The difference is you can look at who the owner info is. It gives you info on, so like my neighborhood is called Vista Ridge Phase 01. But when you go pull into my neighborhood, it doesn't say Vista Ridge Phase 01. That's why those asterisks are so important when you search for neighborhood, to do just Vista Ridge asterisk. Now, the nicer part of my neighborhood is called the Villas at Vista Ridge. We still turn in on Vista Ridge Parkway, or Vista Ridge Drive, I don't even know anymore. I just turned. So you would do asterisk Vista Ridge asterisk. Then you would get the villas, the estates, the overlooks, the bluffs at Vista Ridge. I made half of those up, but just, you know, Crystal Falls.
Yeah.
Crystal Falls has the villas, the bluffs, the Grand Mesa. They have all this stuff. You do your asterisks and you do Crystal Falls, you'll get way more info than you ever thought you ever wanted. And so that way you can take a look at it. You can look at the legal description. You can get an idea looking at this right here. Pretty much what the house would look like. So like once you've done enough in the area, you can maybe go back and look and see what the listing photos look like if the house has ever been on the market before. You can kind of do you can go in with an idea of what you're coming into. Does that make any sense? We used to, when I worked for that other real estate office, we used to have a contract with HUD. Back whenever, yeah, that's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Back whenever foreclosures were like the thing. And I used to have to go into Realist every time we got a property and make sure HUD was listed as the owner. And then I would know enough about this house before I showed up to it at 6 o'clock in the afternoon to do a walkthrough, to not feel nervous about going out to the middle of nowhere to look at a vacant property at sunset. So like I said, there's different things that it's good for. But now that Realist, we've done all of this outside of Realist. The only thing that Realist adds, honestly, is mortgage info. So if you go to history, you can see the history of, there's the mortgage history, it's moved, so under mortgage history. So I could look and see, well, when my landlord bought this house in 2006, the mortgage that was taken out, the fact that they've refied it a couple times, just different things. Or you can go into it and say, okay, in 2013, so 6 years ago, they refinanced this house for $137,000. They should owe roughly X amount of money on the house. Because there's nothing worse than going in there and them saying that they need to make a certain amount, but then you get, once the property's under contract, you get down the process, and you find out they actually owe twice that much. It's not accurate. It's not 100% accurate. It's all ballpark. But it gives you an idea of what you're walking into. You could walk into this house and pretty much figure out how you're going to net that client $100,000 based on the current market. If they owed $137 6 years ago, and the neighborhood is appreciated to $300,000 is the lowest price in that neighborhood, they're going to be walking away with some substantial money. Make sense? Also, this wonderful thing called flood maps. We live in Texas. It likes to flood. So it'll show you whether or not this house is in the floodplains. Luckily, this house is not in the floodplain. But just right over here, there is a river that runs back here that is in the floodplain. So it'll tell you, like A is the 100-year floodplain. X means it's not even in the floodplain. So so it'll just kind of give you an idea of what it all looks like. So, any questions on that? I'm going to show you one more really cool thing.
Yep.
What am I? I'll use dot loop, right? We gotta move it over to something else. For now?
We're still using
dot loop. What are y'all moving over to eventually? Do you know?
DocuSign.
Perfect. Okay. So, So there's this wonderful website called RPR.
Oh, that's right.
NARRPR.com. It's called Realtor Property Resource. And let's see if Kent can remember his password. I did. So you can pull up a property and tax records as well as on RPR. Make sure that you don't forget the right. Let's try to figure out. Free code name.
And this is a free website, right?
This is absolutely free. Were you here for my joke about free? Free is my second favorite F word. My first is fun.
Okay, you'll remember that.
Yeah. So what you do, you have a couple options off to the side here. My favorite one is this button that says Zip Form Transactions.
Okay.
You click the button, you start a new Zip Form transaction, and as long as you have your templates all set up in Zip Form,
Yes.
it has now created, and it uses single sign-on to link up to Zip Form for you. And it's already pre-filled out all this info about the property in the Zip Form. You just have to make sure you do the parties.
And I got 2 listings and I got offers on each one of them, and I had to do my solace next week. I could have gone there, but I went the other way around.
Yep. So there you go.
Yep. Thank you.
RPR is really cool. I can run some really cool stats for you as well. I know y'all have your Keller Williams stats info.
Yeah.
Texas Realtors. I can't type today, y'all. Under market for realtor members, research, market viewer. I'm going to make you log in. Let's see if I remember my password.
Usually that's where I go for my Zip Forms.
Yes, me too. If that's the right password, I probably should change it to the same password for 10 years. It has, cool. You can come over here, and you were saying neighborhood info?
Yes.
Depending upon neighborhoods, you can run infographics over here, infographic generator.
So do Stone Canyon.
So I do Williamson County,
Okay.
neighborhood,
Stone Canyon. Okay.
Stone Canyon,
Yeah.
monthly, and I want September market data, and I'm going to do it as a JPEG. It thinks for a second, it downloads it, and it'll instantly give me
A nice graph.
So it tells you Stone Canyon housing report for September. It's not that it's different. So the reason I like this, I'm not sure what the stuff that you have, how it works. Texas Realtors and Texas A&M takes every single MLS across the entire nation, across the entire state, all like 72 of them. 35 of them, sorry, there's 72 associations. I think there's 35 or 40 MLSs. Runs them through a checker, takes out all the duplicates. So like if a property's entered in 6 different times and 6 different MLSs, that property doesn't count 36 times, it counts 1 time. So there's this info. Now, here's the problem with sharing this information. The median price was $315,000, right? There was only one house that sold. So if you were to share this information, you would be disclosing the sale price of a property, because all your neighbors would know what house just sold. So there's some things you would have to look at. So and last month there was only 2 sales. So it may not be the really good tool for that aspect, but you could come back and you could say, What zip code is that in?
78681.
So instead of neighborhood, you could do zip codes.
Right, but that would take all Barron's Ranch, Mayfield, would take all.
Yeah.
Fernbluff.
That is true. Okay, so.
I like that. So I guess.
So then what you could do, instead of doing monthly.
Yeah.
So neighborhood, Stone Canyon, quarterly,
So there you go.
third quarter.
Okay.
Let's open that up. There, 12 houses sold in the third quarter. And it's up 71.4% from the quarter before, or from this quarter last year. So these percentages compared to the same quarter last year.
That would be another great tool to use for farming, and if you announce everyone that you just became a realtor and you're going to specialize in your area.
Yep.
It'd be an amazing.
And if you don't have the neighborhood map, I can make it happen for you.
Okay.
I have people that I can get to draw the neighborhood map.
What system is this again?
So this is Texas Realtors Market Viewer. So
you go to property and then search. Sorry, I want to get that.
So I went to TexasRealtors.com.
Yeah.
Made sure I clicked on or TexasRealEstate.com. For realtor members. Research, Market Viewer.
Yeah.
And then Access Market Viewer.
Say that one more time, I'm sorry.
Then Access Market Viewer. So those are just the really cool infographics. There's even more cool stuff. So like you could come into here and you can find your local association. So Williamson County, we'll do neighborhood. We're gonna do Stone Canyon. We're gonna do monthly frequencies as of this month. And it'll actually go and it'll show the trends in that neighborhood. It'll show the previous months. Let's do annual for kicks and grins. So as of last year, no, let's do quarterly. So there, so it'll say, and then it'll show the price distributions, the stats, and then you click this button that says download right here. Download as an image. And then you have that image you can share on social media.
2 years ago, we farmed at the end of the year, and we got something very similar. And what we were saying, our script was about listing your home. Out of that neighborhood, they had the mailboxes out, not the customer. We got about 6 listings just out of that neighborhood.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hate those cluster mailboxes. It'll tell you the median year built. Like it gives you stats. It gives you actual true stats. And so then you can take those stats and compare them back to tax records. So if we went back to Matrix, please work this time. We'll say Stone Canyon. My neighborhood search doesn't work today. I'll have to go back and look at that. But you would go, then you could go back into here and you could find the people that have been in their house longer than 7 years. And then you know who to really target.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh, there's like so
Did I just
much
blow your mind that last hour though?
Well, yeah.
No, pretty much got most of the advanced ones.
There's another advanced class.
I talk about tax records.
Yeah.
What agent website, embedded IDX websites, and RPR.
So I have one question for you. I've been in this business for so long, but for some reason I always forget to ask. If I want to follow an agent, is there a way that I can find that agent? Say, there you go.
No, because you're not a broker.
Okay.
So you cannot.
The only brokers can do it.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Fair.
There's other ways around it. So what you would do. Is you would then do your, when we went into the search screens, you would search, sold data, you'd add buyer's agent and seller's agent info, and then you would export it over a certain period of time, and then you would export it into Excel, and then filter it by that agent's info. So, let's see. I've yelled to you about the importance of using the right form of realtor. I've taught you asterisks are wonderful. That fun is the second, or free is the second favorite F word, fun is the first. I think that's it. Yeah. So, any more questions? Anything you wanted to learn that you didn't learn? Are y'all ready to go out, conquer the world with Matrix? No? I think you got this. So, I have a form that I'm going to hopefully pass around if I can remember where I put it. Yeah, here we go. Pass around my evaluation form. If you can't give me a perfect score, I'm not going to be sad. I learned what I could do differently. My goal is to always make this a wonderful, better class every time.
I have a question for you.
Yes, and then I'm going to find the what? Yes, we're going to look at that, and then I'm going to find the form that gives you credit for showing up today. So let me find that first, and then we'll look for your neighborhood.
Cool.
Oh, here it is. It fell on the floor.
Can your last name?
Prickett, Prickett. And then if you want credit for class today, just sign that on your way out the door.
Okay, do we have to pay anything?
Not for this class.
Oh, really? Okay.
Correct. If you were to find your neighborhood in Matrix or in where were you going to find it?
Yeah, so I was looking.
I'm doing the same thing. Something.
Yeah.
Got it.
We need a pool. Let's do it with a budget. But don't we want to live close to
My parents.
my parents? We'll pick this up later. Nice.